SamuraiNippon. 2 billion yen armies.
Do you know why TakedaShingen was the most powerful warlord? The answer isn't his swords or cavalry. It was gold. 2 billion yen annually. That's the modern equivalent of what Shingen's gold mines produced. Yet even Shingen and Kenshin, who possessed the most gold and silver, never conquered Japan. Why? The answer lies in a certain economic principle discovered by Oda Nobunaga. Not those who possess resources, but those who circulate them win. In the Sengoku period, the real battle wasn't fought on battlefields, but in economics. Today's story is the truth about the Sengoku period that textbooks don't teach, how gold determined the fate of the realm.
But first, please subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. This helps the algorithm show you more videos perfectly suited to your interests.
Chapter 1. Background and historical setting.
The 16th century, Japan's Sengoku period. Many call this era the age of Gekokujo, the low overcoming the high. Indeed, it was an age when those of low status could rise through ability. However, there's an important fact historians often overlook. This era was simultaneously an age of economic revolution. In 1542, a Portuguese ship drifted to Tanegashima, introducing firearms. This event appears in every Japanese history textbook. It's a historical moment everyone knows. But actually, a bit earlier in 1526, an even more important revolution occurred. The full-scale development of the Iwami silver mine, Iwami Ginzan. At this mine, a revolutionary refining technique called haifuki-ho, cupellation method from the Korean peninsula, was introduced. This technique could efficiently separate trace amounts of silver contained in copper ore. It became possible to extract large quantities of silver from ore that had previously been discarded. As a result, Japan's silver production exploded. How much? Combining contemporary records with modern research, Japan accounted for approximately 1/3 of the world's total silver production. In modern terms, this is equivalent to Saudi Arabia's oil, or perhaps even more, because at that time silver was international currency itself. Rumors of this white gold spread rapidly throughout Europe. Portuguese merchants crossed the Pacific despite the dangers. Their objective was Japanese silver. And the Sengoku daimyo feudal lords also quickly realized its value. Even with vast territory and many soldiers, you cannot fight without gold and silver. Firearms, the latest weapons, cost about 5 million yen each in modern terms. 100 firearms, 500 million yen. 1,000, 5 billion yen. Only daimyo who could pay this in cash could become Sengoku overlords. In other words, those who controlled gold and silver mines controlled the realm. The essence of the Sengoku period was actually a grand economic war over underground resources.
Chapter 2. Protagonist main forces.
Enter the Tiger of Kai, TakedaShingen, Kai Province, ruled by Shingen, present-day Yamanashi Prefecture. This land was by no means wealthy. With few plains, rice production was far inferior to Echigo or Owari. Tax revenue alone could never support a large army. But Shingen had a trump card: gold. Kai Province had 3 major gold mines: Kurokawa, Unikoku, and Nakayama. Among them, the Kurokawa gold vein was outstanding in both quality and quantity. So how much gold was extracted annually? Precise records were lost in the wars. But combining estimates from multiple researchers, approximately 200 to 300 kilograms per year. Gold's current price is about 10,000 yen per gram. 200 kilos equals 2 billion yen. 300 kilos equals 3 billion yen. Every year, 3 billion yen in income. This was Shingen's hidden treasure. But Shingen's greatness wasn't in having gold. It was in using it. Shingen made gold mine management the core of his strategy. He organized a specialized technical group called Kinzenshu Gold Mine Workers. In modern terms, this was like a resource development company's technical team. Shingen invested massively in them. He spent gold on developing drainage technology. As tunnels go deeper, groundwater springs up. Without efficient drainage, mining stops. Shingen introduced the latest water wheel technology, operating 24-hour drainage. He also spared no expense on geological surveys. Where should they dig to hit gold veins? He hired experienced Yamashi mountain masters at high salaries to conduct scientific surveys. He invested in improving refining techniques to increase efficiency of extracting gold from ore, even slightly. Like a modern high-tech company, Shingen managed his gold mines, and the extracted gold was minted as koshu gold. These gold coins were the true source of the Takeda military's power. What did Shingen use them for? First, mass purchases of firearms. The Takeda cavalry, said to be the strongest in the Sengoku period. Actually, they were also armed with firearms. Next, headhunting talented people, blacksmiths from other provinces, castle construction specialists, military strategists. He invited them to Kai one after another with high compensation. Soldiers' salaries were also set higher than other provinces. Serve the Takeda and you can feed your family. As this reputation spread, excellent soldiers gathered. Takeda soldiers are elite, was said, but behind this was a robust compensation system. In other words, Shingen created the strongest military force. With the power of gold. This was the real reason the Tiger of Kai was feared.
Chapter 3, Turning Point Incident Invention.
However, gold alone couldn't conquer Japan. Here the story shifts to silver. Iwami Ginza Iwami Silver Mine, present-day Oda City, Shimane Prefecture. The silver produced here had a different value from gold. International trade settlement currency that was silver. After introducing the Haifukiho method, Iwami silver mines production reached an estimated 38 tons annually. 38 tons. This was an enormous amount, about 1/3 of the world's silver production at the time. Sengoku daimyo fought fiercely over this silver mine, first controlled by the Aochi clan, next seized by the Amago clan, finally conquered by the Mori clan. In this struggle, thousands of soldiers lost their lives. Why did they fight so hard for the silver mine? The answer is arbitrage trading. At that time, the gold to silver exchange ratio differed greatly between Japan and China. In Japan, the ratio was 1 gold to 12 silver. But in China, it was 1 gold to 5 or 6 silver. This difference generated enormous profits. Let's calculate specifically. Buy 12 silver in Japan. Take it to China and exchange for 2 gold. Bring that 2 gold back to Japan and exchange for 24 silver. The initial 12 silver becomes 24 silver. Assets double in one round trip. Portuguese merchants noticed this alchemy. They loaded huge ships with silver and headed to China. In China, they bought silk fabrics, ceramics, and books, then returned to Japan. This triangular trade was called Nanban trade, Southern Barbarian trade, and the daimyo who could monopolize this trade became the true victor. Enter Oda Nobunaga. Nobunaga didn't have large gold or silver mines like Takeda or Wasugi. Owari had many plains with good rice production, but poor mineral resources. But Nobunaga had a completely different idea. Don't dig for resources, control the distribution. This was Nobunaga's economic strategy. Nobunaga established Rakuichi Rakuza free markets in Azuchi Castle town. This was a system abolishing the privileges of commercial guilds called za, allowing anyone to freely do business. Furthermore, he successively abolished checkpoints within his territory. Checkpoints were facilities for collecting tolls. Abolishing them would reduce tax revenue. But Nobunaga had a long-term perspective. Without checkpoints, distribution becomes smooth. Smooth distribution activates commerce. Active commerce grows the overall economy. Economic growth ultimately increases tax revenue. Nobunaga put this economic theory into practice, and most importantly, he controlled Sakai. Sakai was Japan's largest international trade port, a place where Portuguese ships and Chinese ships came and went, where enormous wealth gathered. Nobunaga brought this Sakai under his control through military power.
Chapter 4, Climax.
With Sakai in hand, a new world opened before Nobunaga, the wealthy merchants of Sakai. They had built vast fortunes through Nanban trade. Imaisokyu, Tsudasogyu, Sen no Rikyu. Their wealth was said to exceed that of provincial daimyo. Nobunaga demanded yazeni military funds from them. Yazeni means military funding. Records show that a single demand sometimes reached several hundred million yen in modern terms. But Nobunaga didn't simply extort money. He guaranteed safety and prosperity to Sakai's merchants. He protected merchant ships from pirates and provided a stable trading environment. The merchants gladly cooperated with Nobunaga. With these funds, what did Nobunaga do? The answer is firearms. 1575, the Battle of Nagashino. Takeda Katsuyori led 15,000 elite cavalry to attack the Oda Tokugawa alliance. But Nobunaga had a secret weapon, 3,000 firearms. At 5 million yen each, a total of 15 billion yen worth of weapons. Nobunaga employed 3-row shooting tactics. The first row fires, the second row aims, the third row loads. Bullets fly without pause. The Takeda cavalry was annihilated before this iron rain. This level of armament was possible because of Sakai's trade profits. But Nobunaga's economic strategy didn't stop there. He also undertook gold mine development. Particularly noteworthy is the Ikuno silver mine. This silver mine in present-day Asago City, Hyogo Prefecture. Nobunaga invested cutting-edge technology, dramatically increasing production. Furthermore, Nobunaga also reformed currency circulation. He promoted circulation of Eiraku Tsuho, Chinese coins. Until then, various types of currency coexisted in Japan. This was inconvenient for commercial transactions. Nobunaga made Eiraku Tsuho the standard currency, streamlining the economy. Here an important question arises. TakedaShingen had Kai's gold. Uesugi Kenshin had Sato's gold mines. The Mori clan had Iwami's silver mines. So why did only Nobunaga come closest to unifying Japan? The answer lies in differences in economic strategy. Shingen, Kenshin, Mori, they emphasized accumulating gold and silver, storing it in vaults, using it when necessary. This was certainly a sound strategy, but Nobunaga was different. He circulated gold and silver to move the entire economy. And by controlling that circulation, he generated enormous profits. Like a modern central bank, Nobunaga controlled the flow of currency, the economy's lifeblood, Rakuichi Rakuza to activate commerce, checkpoint abolition to smooth distribution, Sakai control to monopolize international trade, Eiraku Tsuho to unify currency. All of these activated the economy and created a system that channeled profits back to Nobunaga himself. If the Honnoji incident hadn't occurred, Nobunaga would have unified Japan much earlier with these economic policies. To that extent, Nobunaga's economic strategy was ahead of its time.
Chapter 5, Conclusion and Impact.
1582, the Honnoji incident. Nobunaga fell to Akechi Mitsuhide's rebellion. However, Nobunaga's economic policies didn't die but were inherited. The one who perfected them was Toyotomi Hideyoshi. Hideyoshi understood the importance of gold and silver even more than Nobunaga. He implemented 3 economic policies. First, Taiko Kenshi Hideyoshi's land survey. He surveyed all rice fields nationwide and grasped accurate yields. This dramatically increased tax revenue. Second, Katanagari sword hunt. He confiscated weapons from peasants, advancing separation of warriors and farmers. This was not only for public order, but also economic policy. If peasants focused on agriculture, rice production would increase. Increased rice production would grow the economy. Third, unified gold and silver management. 2. Hideyoshi made all major gold and silver mines Sato, Ikuno, Iwami directly controlled territory, and he issued unified currency Oben large gold coins and Koban small gold coins. One Oben was worth about 10 million yen in modern terms. Hideyoshi gave these Oban to retainers as rewards. The famous Golden Tea Room was a symbol of Hideyoshi's wealth. Walls, ceiling, pillars. A tea room entirely covered in gold leaf. Its construction cost is said to be billions of yen in modern terms. Hideyoshi also conducted 2 invasions of Korea. These seemingly reckless grand enterprises, dispatching hundreds of thousands of troops overseas and fighting for years. The costs were astronomical. What made this possible was the accumulation of gold and silver. However, after Hideyoshi's death, the realm became Tokugawa Ieyasu's. Ieyasu was also an excellent economic strategist. After the Battle of Sekigahara, Ieyasu made Sato Gold Mine directly controlled territory. Sato Gold Mine was Japan's largest gold mine. It's said to have produced about 78 tons of gold throughout the Edo period. 78 tons. At current prices, about 780 billion yen. Ieyasu minted Keicho Koban with this gold. Keicho Koban became the key currency supporting the Japanese economy for 260 years of the Edo period. Each weighed about 18 grams. Gold content was about 86%. In other words, about 15 grams of pure gold per coin. Current value of about 150,000 yen. Ieyasu mass minted these koban and circulated them nationwide. This stabilized the Japanese economy, realizing Edo period prosperity. Let's reflect. The Sengoku period struggled for supremacy. It wasn't just a battle of swords and spears. Gold and silver sleeping deep underground. Technology to mine them, wisdom to refine them, economic policies to circulate them. It was a grand economic war where all of these intertwined in complex ways. TakedaShingen scientifically managed gold mines and created the strongest military force. Oda Nobunaga controlled distribution and changed the economic system itself. Toyotomi Hideyoshi unified gold and silver management and built a centralized system. Tokugawa Ieyasu issued unified currency and realized 260 years of peace and prosperity. Those who conquered the realm were all excellent economic strategists. And this history offers important lessons to us in the modern world too. Simply possessing resources doesn't mean victory. Utilizing resources, circulating them, understanding the economic system, and those who strategically leverage these are the ultimate victors. This universal principle is exactly the same in the Sengoku period 400 years ago and in today's business world.
Ending.
Metallic sounds echo from underground. Clang, clang, clang! These sounds may still echo somewhere in Japan today. The spirit of those who won the Sengoku economic war. It's inherited in modern economic strategies too. Finding resources, refining techniques, controlling distribution. This universal principle hasn't changed in 400 years. The Sengoku period, the struggle for supremacy born from gold and silver mines. It was a story of the realm determined not by swords, but by gold.
Next time, we'll bring you more surprising historical truths. Please subscribe to the channel and like this video. Until next time.